Okay, so let's just get right into it. The title here is pretty bold, right? Motivation is a scam. And we're going to make the case that chasing that feeling of motivation is actually the very thing that might be holding you back from what you want to achieve.
So, let me just ask you this, because I know we've all been there. One day, you wake up, you feel like you can take on the world. You're going to hit the gym, you're going to eat healthy, you're going to crush that project. And then the next day, you can't even drag yourself off the couch. What is happening there?
It's this incredibly frustrating loop, isn't it? You get this jolt of inspiration. Maybe you watch a video or listen to a talk. You get this little burst of energy. You take some action. But then, almost like clockwork, that feeling just vanishes. And you're right back at square one, just waiting for that next hit of motivation that honestly might not come for weeks.
And this whole cycle leads us to the core of the problem. You see, we've all been told the same thing. Just try harder. You need more willpower. But what if that whole idea, the very way we think about self-control, is actually built on a complete myth?
For years, the main idea has been this thing called the limited strength model. You've probably heard it explained this way, that your willpower is like a muscle. Every time you use it, it gets a little more tired, until eventually it just gives out. They call it ego depletion. It's the reason we think we fail at the end of a long day when we just feel totally drained. But here's the twist. What if that whole idea is just wrong? A huge scientific review, a meta-analysis looking at hundreds of studies, found something pretty shocking. Their conclusion right here is that there's basically very little evidence this depletion effect is even a real thing. Self-control doesn't seem to work like a battery that just runs out. So if trying harder isn't the solution, then what is?
The answer is to completely change our focus. We need to stop chasing these fleeting feelings and setting these far-off goals, and instead build something way more durable, bulletproof systems.
And that brings us to the real hero of the story, discipline. Now, let's be super clear about what this means. This isn't about punishing yourself or being miserable. Discipline, at its core, is simply the skill of trading what you want right now for what you want most. It's the thing that gets you to act when your motivation has decided to take the day off. And this comparison just lays it out so perfectly. A goal is about the finish line. It sets up this all-or-nothing game where you're either happy because you won or miserable because you haven't yet. But a system is all about the process. You get that little hit of satisfaction just from doing the thing you said you'd do. The point of a goal is to win. The point of a system is to keep on playing. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually build these systems? Let's get really practical here. We're going to open up the toolkit and give you some concrete things you can start doing today.
First up, one of the most powerful ideas out there, the 2-minute rule, made famous by James Clear. You know, the biggest hurdle to being consistent is that the task just feels too big. We put it off because it's intimidating. So the solution is brilliant. Make the starting ritual so ridiculously easy, you literally can't say no.
Just look at these examples. Any new habit, you scale it down so it takes less than 2 minutes. Run 3 miles, feels like a mountain, but tie my running shoes? Anyone can do that. Read a book for an hour? Becomes read one single page. The whole point here isn't to get the result right away. It's to master the simple act of showing up. You're not trying to be a novelist today. You're just building the identity of a person who sits down to write every morning.
Okay, next up, we're going to use an idea from BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits research. Instead of relying on a reminder or an alarm to pop up, you're going to link your new tiny habit to a routine you already have completely locked in.
Here's the recipe, and it's so simple. Step 1, find an anchor. This is something you already do without thinking, like brushing your teeth. Step 2, add a new super tiny behavior, like doing 1 push-up. Then step 3, and this part is absolutely critical, you have to celebrate immediately. Give yourself a mental yes or a little fist pump. That immediate positive feedback is what tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do that again, and it wires the habit in place.
Every single choice you make during the day, no matter how small, what to wear, what to eat, it uses up mental energy. This is decision fatigue. Relying on motivation means you're having the same debate with yourself every single day. Should I go to the gym now or maybe later? Discipline is about deciding once. You're going to work out at 7 a.m. on Mondays. That's it. The decision is made. You're just executing the plan.
Now, this is such a critical insight. We have this idea that the pros, the people at the top of their game, are just passionate and excited all the time. But the truth is, mastery is, well, it's kind of boring. It's doing the same reps over and over. The real skill isn't getting hyped up. It's showing up when you're bored and doing the work anyway. The winners are the ones who can handle the monotony.
And this leads to a really powerful technique from therapy called behavioral activation. The idea is so simple but so profound. Stop waiting to be in a good mood to do things. Instead, track how your actions actually affect your mood. Just look at this little log. Notice how the mood score goes up after doing something, even something as small as a 10-minute walk. It proves the whole point. The action comes first, and the feeling follows.
All right, now for a super important pro tip. When you start building a new discipline, you might hit a point where everything suddenly feels 10 times harder. And I need you to know, this is not a sign you are failing. In fact, it's a very predictable part of the process. It actually has a name. It's called an extinction burst. And that's exactly what it sounds like. When you stop giving your brain its old, easy reward, like procrastinating, your brain doesn't just go, okay, cool. No, it throws a full-on tantrum. The old cravings get worse for a little while. It's your brain's last-ditch effort to get you to go back to the old, comfortable way of doing things. So when you feel that internal storm brewing, when the resistance feels overwhelming, I want you to picture this. That struggle isn't a sign that you should give up. It's the sound of your old bad habits fighting for their lives. It's proof that what you're doing is working. You are winning.
So all of this really brings us to a final, powerful shift in your mindset, a brand new mantra to guide how you approach everything from now on.
And this is it. This is the single most important idea to take away from all of this. Stop waiting to feel like it. Your feelings are a terrible boss. They're unreliable and they change their mind all the time. Action is the spark. Action is what builds momentum. The action itself is what creates the very motivation you were sitting around waiting for.
So, to wrap it all up, forget about trying to find more motivation. It's a fool's errand. What you actually need are the tools we talked about today. You need the structure of a routine, you need the systems that make it easy to start, you need the habits that run on autopilot, and you need the discipline to just show up, especially when it's boring. And so I'll leave you with this one final question to think about. That one big thing you've always said you wanted to do, but you were always just waiting for the right mode to get started. What could you finally actually achieve if you stopped waiting and just started building?